last word.
All right, good evening everyone and welcome to The Last Word on this 12th day of August 2025. It is Tuesday. You know, this day is the day we do exactly what we do best. We try to take an issue, break it apart with a live audience and make sure that by the time we're done, we've made sense of the entire issue. This is The Last Word. This evening conversation is that speaking conversation on the Hustler Fund. And the question has been, does the Hustler Fund actually work? Has it worked for you? Has it worked before? And how do we know that it's working? That is the fundamental question to ask. We are here live from Nairobi and our colleague and friend Eric Latif is in Homa Bay. Eric is chancing boats and also eating fish. Good evening, Eric, and welcome to The Last Word. Let's start where we should with the hot button. Eric, please take us away.
Well, thank you very much, James Smart and Zaha Ndimuli, and of course everybody else who's watching. I'm coming to you live from Homa Bay County, where, you know, Devolution Conference is taking place from tomorrow to Friday. And this is the 9th Devolution Conference. Now, I've had the privilege of attending seven of those 9. It's the 13th year of devolution. My hot button tonight is on devolution. And I want to quote from Article 174 of the Constitution, which talks about the principles of devolution. I'll take 4 points. There are several others. One is that devolution seeks to give powers of self-governance to the people. The other one is that it recognizes the rights of communities to manage their own affairs and development, also decentralize state organs, functions, and services from the capital of Nairobi, that's Nairobi, or the capital of Kenya, rather, that's Nairobi, and to enhance checks and balances. Now, those 4 points, why am I picking them? Because they're really important. One, we sought, by giving ourselves a new constitution and decentralizing power, to give agency directly to the people. That is, people, communities, wherever they are, can decide what they want to be development. They can also decide how to fund those development projects, and they can decide how those developments are then conducted. They also have the power and agency to hold their leaders to account. Now, we've seen all those years of devolution, 3 governments into devolution, and those who will speak to devolution will tell you that they have seen the benefits of devolution. They have seen more development coming to their areas. They've seen some of them actually getting more involved in decision making. But also the naysayers have been raising issues. One, the cost of the 47 county governments. Also, they've been saying, you know, the lack of accountability, especially from those county executives and the county assemblies and how they conduct their affairs. But I want to push back on that. We gave ourselves a constitution. We gave ourselves a devolution. We are the ones who decided that we are going to share our revenues across the county governments and the national government. Now, what have we been seeing? The national government has been behaving as if it's the one that is deciding how much it wants to give to counties. That's not what we said in our constitution. We've been seeing the governors who are also come in and they appear to want to decide what devolution means to us. That's not what we said in our constitution. We, the people, gave ourselves this constitution. And tonight I want to say that it's upon all of us as citizens to make sure that devolution works. When there are threats to devolution, when you see the national government holding on to some functions that should be devolved, when you see the national government holding on to some funds that should be devolved, when you see county governors deciding what they want to be developing in their areas, that's not what we said. The onus is on us. The agency is ours as citizens to make sure that we devolve all functions and that we protect and promote devolution the way we wanted it to be. That's my hot button. I'm Eric Latif. Have a good show, Zaha and Smart.
Thank you very much, Eric Latif. Eric Latif is in Homa Bay to make sure that devolution actually works. As you can see, he's very passionate about it. He's been to 7 out of the 9 devolution conferences. Wow, such a commitment. But in studio, Zaha has been lighting things up. Zaha, what has been your hot button for the week?
Well, I think for the first time on the show, we are going to be sharing a very different aspect of our hot button. A truth that we Kenyan women have to live with, a reality that we might not be able to forget in a very long time. This very week, Creatives Garage, in collaboration with Usikimye, opened an art exhibition named Maskan. Maskan meaning home. This exhibition is of muddy, white, raggedy, messy mannequins, threshed with blood, struggling mannequins, symbolizing the truth of things that we have never been accustomed to in our country, and that is the truth of femicide. 128 women have been murdered in the last 3 months, yet the government says nothing about it. A woman is killed every day, a girl is raped every day, a child is defiled every day. Yet systemically, the government and all systems at B have absolutely no idea who are killing our women, where our women are being killed, and what is the motive. Well, I'm here not to educate the government today. I'm here to inform the country that your taxes do not pay for your safety if women have to march to remind the government that we need to be alive, that you might be next, that you might be burying your mother, your daughter, your sister, your aunt, your wife. And today, marking International Youth Day, there is nothing for us young women to celebrate when we are constantly living in fear of existing everywhere because we are murdered at home, we are murdered at school, we're murdered in public transport, we're murdered at work, we're murdered at hospitals, we are murdered everywhere. And if this doesn't ring a bell to the government that this is a ticking time bomb that already blew up, then I hope this scandal that I light here at the last word reminds you of how dire it is for us to protect our women and in all their diversity. The Chief Justice paid homage to Maskan today, and we have a thing that is trending around the country where we are telling you, remind your daughter of Njeri Migwi, remind your daughter of the End Femicide Kenya movement, remind your daughter of Scarlett Wahoo, remind your daughter that they should probably be very aware that there's a potential they might be next. And hopefully this reminds the government that we are not just statistics. We are lives, we are mothers, we are sisters, we are children, and at the biggest bit of it, we are human. That is my hot button of today. My name is Zaha Ndimule.
All right. I'm James Smart. So here's the thing, it's very intense and very important, the questions about femicide and how as a country we interact and make sure that women are safe and we make this country safe for women and everyone else. In studio, we have a live audience. Where should I start? Lady in red. Good evening, introduce yourself. What's your hot button? What has been bothering you this week?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Charlene Hananjeri from Kiambu County. I'm a budget champion as well as a good governance advocate. My hot button tonight is on the President, His Excellency William Ruto, where he unveiled a 200 billion plan to overhaul the medical equipment in the county referral hospitals. And I think we all know, we know that health is a devolved function. And I believe that then I feel like the national government is overstepping at some point. And also, do you all know what 200 billion looks like? According to me, it's the amount of money that could build over 300 hospitals across the country, level 5 well-equipped hospitals across the country. Thank you. That is my button for tonight.
Thank you very much. Very well spoken. Worried about the president apparently splurging money. We've had that before. That's something that should set up. Another microphone here. Gentleman on the end, please introduce yourself. What's your name? What has been bothering you this week?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. J.M. Karanja is my name, youth leader, Murang'a County. My hot button is in regard to the report that was released last week by the Auditor General, the office that is mandated to audit every transaction in the government. Why am I worried? It's because the government came up with a system, eCitizen. Why? To curb corruption. We are talking about a system that was meant to curb corruption, yet more than 9.4 billion in a country that is struggling with debt cannot be accounted for. Hey, should I worry you more? There is a pay bill that is there for the government. That is 222 inafika mpaka ya sita. Why was the pay bill there? The pay bill was there to make sure that all the parastatals and all the government institutions do not divert the money to their pockets. But 127 million from that pay bill were diverted to private accounts with no authorization and with no records. The government of the day, should we put you on audit for that reasons? We are talking about more than 9.4 billion in a country that is not able to fund the education system. We are talking about 9.4 billion in a country where the government of the day, when it came into power, it had great appetite for tax collection from Mama Mboga, from Hustler, until a certain person in the government got a nickname of a tax collector. So the question is, will we just get the name of a tax collector and not the name of a performer because of the billions you are collecting through the eCitizen? Thank you.
Wow, there's so many billions. My goodness, into mathematics. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your hot button. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening everyone and welcome to our program. In fact, as we speak, the PS is joining us. Makofi tafadhali as she joins us. Please welcome to the program. The PS joins us. Right, so this is Susan Magenyi, the PS MSME. Karibu sana to the program. We've been waiting for you. We want to discussing this Hustler Fund.
Okay.
The question to everyone, you all have your boards up. Do you have your boards? Okay, I want the cameras to show. Okay?
Okay.
Is the Hustler Fund working for hustlers? That is just the basic question. Is it working for hustlers? So green is yes, red is no. Please, your boards up. Is the Hustler Fund working for hustlers? All right, please put it up. Be proud of your vote. Okay, couple of greens, couple of reds. Yeah, good. Okay, let's start with...
You didn't give me one to vote.
You will come. We know your vote. We know your vote, PS. So hang on, we will come to you. But let's get the wisdom of the room, right? Let's get to those that say it works first, okay? Because there were few, then we go to those who didn't work.
Okay.
If you're green, let me see your green again, okay? Gentleman here, close to the PS. Please, let the microphone hand over to your name. Very quickly, tell us, how is the Hustler Fund working for you exactly?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Ikuayan. Ikuayan is a Kenyan citizen from Kiambu County, Rari constituency, Kijabi ward. I'm here to say that Hustler Fund is working for the Kenyan and common mwananchi since it was introduced in November 2022 under the leadership of the then Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui and the President William Ruto. To me, I borrowed Hustler Fund last year. I borrowed 500 shillings when I was struggling in university. Back then, I used to have no meal. I borrowed 500 shillings. I started a small business of selling perfumes. And within a period of over 8 months, I had extended my business to a larger business, and I could sustain myself to buy food. I stopped eating like chicken, and I started eating chicken. So that's why I'm supporting the program that the Hustler Fund is working to the common mwananchi, and through that, I can say it is working. Thank you very much.
So you bought which perfume? Which perfume did you start with? Because it was 500. Which perfume did you buy?
I just have a quick one. That's very interesting. I think congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
I just want to know, you borrowed 500 shillings, right?
Yeah.
There is capital that you needed, to start the business, to sell the business, advertise it. Take me through how much you used.
Thank you very much. I had a budget of 2,000 shillings to start that business, and I had none. So I first borrowed 500 shillings, and after
1,500.
I borrowed 500 shillings. I remained with a deficit of 1,500.
Right.
After a period of 2 weeks, I was able to pay that 500, and my limit increased from 500 to 1,000. So I had 1,000, and now the other 1,000 I had raised it from other sources. So I took that 1,000 plus the other 1,000, that is 2,000. So through that, I was able to start my business, and within the end of semester, I was a tycoon in Mason University.
Wow.
All right, makofi kwa tycoon. If anyone is looking for fare tonight, he's paying for all of us. He's a tycoon. Anyway, someone else it's worked for, the microphone to this gentleman, please. Your name, how has it worked for you? Give us an example as well as we see how it's worked for you. Your name, please.
Yes, I'm George Ojambo Ouma from Busia County, Funyula constituency. And to me, however much it might not have worked for me, but when looking at its bestness from
You've not answered my question, right? My question was for someone. I'll come to you. I want a personal experience, right?
Okay.
Give the gentleman on the back. So we need to build to someone who's like the gentleman here who's worked on the perfume. How has it worked for you?
Thank you very much. My name is George Weiss, and I'm the CEO and founder of Wisdom Hub Society. This is the way Hustler Fund has worked for me. I can remember in the year 2023, August, I borrowed 500 shillings the first time. And I was doing this intentionally just to test whether it is working. And fortunately enough, I found it. Not that I was that vulnerable, but I was trying to go through this thing and understand it. How comes people are complaining? Should I be part of the people complaining? In a span of 47 days, it found that I had paid it 2 weeks earlier, and my limit increased to 2,200. And fortunately enough, when you are receiving the funds, there is no transaction cost. With this 2,200, I'm somebody who cannot sit down to go through my business. I decided to buy trays of eggs, and by that time, a single egg could cost 11 shillings. So I bought around 5 to 6 trays and distributed them to 2 of my friends. They were suffering back then in campus. But for me, I was doing a kind of project to discover diabetes drugs. So I decided to employ them. Fortunately enough, imagine selling a single egg at 30 shillings, yet I bought it at 11 shillings with the money I found from Hustler Fund, just to test whether the system was working. Yeah. And now, recently, looking at the KHRC report, that is the Kenya Human Rights Commission.
We'll come to it.
Oh, thank you very much.
You decided to test the system on how it works.
Yes.
How does the system work? What is the first thing you do?
Definitely, I'm not putting it in the form of tech as per se, but in the form of how am I benefiting from it directly.
How do you borrow?
You dial the code.
What is the code?
*234#.
Then what happens?
254#, sorry.
254#.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The final one on how it's working. The gentleman, the only gentleman. This thing doesn't work for women. Please.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
My good name is Okutoi Eugene.
Joy?
Okutoi Eugene.
Okutoi Eugene.
Yes, and I'm pursuing diplomacy and also a volunteer with American Spaces Kenya. So for my side, the Hustler Fund has really worked. I remember when I was still in campus, I happened to borrow 500 shillings, which I used it to buy a packet of sweet at wholesale price. The one that we call it Lolo. The students know it. One goes at 10 shillings. So when you buy it at a wholesale price, a packet has 50 sweets. So I went to school and I used to sell one sweet for 10 shillings. And you see those 50 sweets, I had bought them for 250 shillings a packet. So that meant, actually I had made like 100% profit, because out of that packet of sweet, I could get back my 500 shillings. So it worked for me that way. And from there, actually, it worked in a way that at some point when I used to go back to class, people were like, where are the sweets today? And I could sell like up to 4 packets of sweet. By the end of the day, I could have my 1,000 bob in the pocket.
Where did you sell the sweets?
School.
Okay.
Pioneer.
All right.
Thank you.
Great. So this is the experience of the few in the room who it has worked for them. And I want to set this up before I get the PS. Then I come to you who's not worked for you guys. The Kenya Human Rights Commission say the following, that the Hustler Fund is structurally unsound, economically unsustainable, and politically manipulated. All right? We can go through this, each and every single one of them. But the promise of the Hustler Fund really was to do exactly what? Okay? Please give the PS the microphone. I need you to introduce in a minute the PS, please.
In a minute?
Yes, in a minute. No, we'll come back. I want you to introduce the question of, from what you've heard and how it is worked, was that the promise of Hustler Fund? Was it supposed to work like this? As what you've heard just from the room.
So, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to join these very good Kenyans here. And I need you to confirm that I had no role in the mobilization of the audience here. I've also just met them here, so that someone doesn't have to say that the PS came, and those who are saying that it's working are saying because I had a hand in bringing them here on the table. Those are their personal experience. And we have millions of such experience where Hustler Fund has worked. But quickly, I think, let me first of all ask the audience, including yourself, have you signed up to Hustler Fund? Have you signed up? Have you, all of us, are we signed up to Hustler Fund? Isn't it? Yeah, whether you've signed up, you borrowed, because we cannot then discuss whether it has worked or not worked from hearsay if we do not have personal experience. So, and today I'm happy because I'm here to share the conceptual clarity of Hustler Fund. Why Hustler Fund? Hustler Fund is a policy intervention that seeks to correct market failures in the credit market, existing market failure. And so what were those market failure? And these market failure were both on the supply side as well as the demand side. The fact that majority of Kenyans are not bankable, they're not being served by the mainstream financial institutions. Why? And those majority of Kenyans are young people who do not own means of production and therefore have no access to the conventional collaterals. Today, if you went to the banks, you asked, do you have a title deed? And we know the situation of unemployment in this country, where majority of Kenyans are not employed, and therefore they do not have a pay slip, which they can commit to a bank to access affordable credit. So that was a huge market failure. But how were we intervening? We're intervening by introducing a new collateral, if you like, you can call it a soft collateral, that is based on your credit behavior. Because when it comes to behavior, each one of us has got some form of behavior. In some other economy, even if you had lots of cash, you will not buy anything without running through your credit rating. So what has Hustler Fund done? Why does it then exist? Number one, to establish credit profiles of all Kenyans, especially most of the Kenyans who could not be served. And one of the reasons was these Kenyans have no history. And you see, if you do not have history, the banks cannot, develop a basic KYC. There's that thing we call know your customer, to assess your ability to borrow and your willingness to repay.
I want to come to those things first, because...
No, I just wanted, first of all, let me, at least I've gotten a chance today to put it, we need to understand why Hustler Fund, so that when we assess it, whether it has worked or not, then we do it from a very informed position. Because many people think it's a bank when it's not a bank. It's a policy intervention. Now, the time when Hustler Fund was being launched, we had a number of Kenyans who had been negatively listed in CRB, Credit Reference Bureau. And now, once you get listed negatively in Credit Reference Bureau, it takes you not less than 7 years to be dropped from that default status.
Do you have numbers, PS, from before to now?
Yes,
so
yes. We're going to go. Let me first of all lay out the context. This is very important. I will ask you to give me, you know why? Because this is the first time I'm having this opportunity.
And it's the first time the Kenyans are listening, and they want to set it up.
No, I just wanted you to give me 2 more minutes.
A minute.
2 more minutes.
No, a minute.
That's what umekula hiyo 1 minute.
A minute. Because you're arguing for it. 1 minute.
No, because
yes.
you need to understand. So, and then you get listed negatively to CRB, but there are no credit repair mechanism. So Hustler Fund, if you like it, is a rehabilitation center that is helping Kenyans to repair their credit by giving them a second chance to prove that maybe the situation that caused them to be listed negatively was not because them refusing just to pay. Because you remember around that time, we had just emerged from COVID. So many businesses went under. There are several shocks, including those political tension across the world that disrupts supply chain and means that affects business. We had droughts. We had many other climate change issues that were all affecting our environment. So if you have close to 8 million Kenyans negatively listed to CRB, 18 years and above, in their adult age bracket, then what happens to them? Nobody's willing to give them a chance, even a second chance to prove otherwise. Then also, the banks were saying, these people, especially young people, are seen always as high risk. So they say, fine, Your Excellency, you want us to help these people? And that's how now Hustler Fund become a very unique initiative, because it's a partnership between the government and the private sector. And they say, we will not put in money. It is your role to build the capabilities of your citizen, but we can lend our infrastructure, our telco infrastructure, our banking infrastructure. And that's how this unique initiative then was put together, leveraging on what was already in the market, because we don't exist to compete, we complement. So far, where are we? Like almost 2.5 years since the launch of Hustler Fund. I want to say where are we, because we launched November 30, 2022. Today, we've reached out because we leveraged on mobile technology.
Yes, I need some numbers now.
Yeah?
I need some numbers now.
I'm giving you numbers.
Yes.
26 million Kenyans have
you've
signed
reached 26 million Kenyans?
Have signed up on Hustler Fund.
Okay.
This is the biggest, biggest database on credit behavior by all 26 million Kenyans. Okay. 18 years and above.
How much have you disbursed?
We have grown our loan portfolio today, as I speak, to 73 billion because it's revolving. Okay. I have injected in, the money that we have injected in is about 14 billion. Okay. And we started, and because we introduced, this is again the only government fund that has got a saving component, which is mandatory, 5%, of which every time you borrow, 5% goes to saving, 30% on for your short term, which you can access, and then 70% goes to your long term. Because you see, even if you are not employed formally, you also have to start caring about your tomorrow and your future. Now,
what's the default rate?
No, forget. Don't ask me about default rate.
I have to ask.
No, I'm going to come there.
No, I have to ask.
I'm going to talk about that. Because as part, one of the market failure that we are also on the supply side.
So you're not going to tell me about the default rate, PS?
Smart. Can you allow me? There's nothing about 68%, because I don't know where those people got those numbers.
So what's the default rate? Okay, now you have the chance. You've been speaking for the last 7 minutes.
No, listen. I cannot talk about default rate before you understand first.
But
and then we are going to, no, you have not even understood. Okay. One of the, one of the market.
So this is what we're going to do.
One of the market failure was.
I've heard you. I need the audience. I need the audience to also speak. So we've had those which worked, right? So before we come to the PS and the other point, let me listen to those who it's not worked. Okay? All right. Please hand the mic to. Let me see again. All right. Hand the microphone to the lady in green. I've listened to men. The lady in green at the back. Please, your name. Again, have you signed up, and how has it not worked for you? Please.
Novin Surelia.
Please speak up.
Novin Surelia.
Right.
The fund does not work.
How has it not worked for you?
because they say like 500 shillings, if you need to start a business, there are those requirements that you need. For example, there was this time I wanted to do a walking business whereby I was going to sell fruits, and therefore you need some capital. And when you want to start this business of walking, the requirements, those government requirements where you need to register health and those other stuff, they cost like around 3,000. And here you are being told you can only borrow 500. So it doesn't work. It does not work. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, please. The gentleman here. Your name and how has it not worked for you?
My name is Samuel Edward Jobunga. I'm the chairperson of the Revolutionary Students Commission, and I'm also a student at the University of Nairobi. The Hustler Fund does not work. I've had my comrades here say that it has worked for them, but what you have noticed particularly, that they used the funds to invest, but there are so many poor people in Kenya who can't afford to invest like the street kids, and instead they use their money for recurrent expenditure, which is to buy food and their pads and so on. So I want to state that President Ruto's Hustler Fund doesn't work at all. In fact, the one who benefits in these things are the wealthy. We are calling them the pay-to-bourgeois. The middle class are the one who benefit in issuing hustler funds, because they're the ones who pay back and they get more. And if you have noticed carefully that those who pay hustler fund, the limit continue to increase till 3,000. You continue, but me personally, I haven't been able to pay the hustler fund, which is 500, and it's been 1 year because my conditions can't fit in.
So what has happened? What has happened to your friend? What has happened to your?
I'm a struggling comrade. I come from a poor background, so I can't afford to pay even 500. You can imagine. So what we have noticed that President Ruto's Hustler Fund has in fact deepened poverty in Kenya. So what we have to do, I can give advice to the PS here.
But you Fuliza.
I don't have Fuliza. Okay. Well, I can give an advice to the PS here that we have to give the workers to own the means of production. That's where we can be able to empower the peasants, the workers, and the poor. Let the people own the means of production. Give power to the people, not a few billionaires.
Okay.
Yes,
that's you. Where's the microphone on this side? Yes, this gentleman with a tie. Please hand him the microphone. Please stand. Your name and how has the Hustler Fund not worked for you?
My name is Mesha Kumondi. I'm an economist, and I'm generally interested in how public policy can shape, governance in good country. Okay, so I do think that Hustler Fund has not worked because I think the PS should tell us, one is that what is the repayment rate to which people are repaying these things, but secondly, we have to understand that most of the people who are taking Hustler Fund, 500, 1,000, 200, 2,000. Most of them are taking them for consumption. But you see, Hustler Fund was a key part of the BETTER, which is bottom-up transformative, economic transformative agenda, which aimed of financial inclusion. So can Hustler Fund work when most of people who are borrowing Hustler Fund are using it to consume, to buy, to use it to consume? I wish that people take Hustler Fund for businesses, but as the lady in green has said, it's not for that, because you cannot start a business with 500, you cannot start a business with 1,000. What government should focus on is on how then, beyond just giving money or borrowing people or lending people, do we train people on how to invest with such little money, even if they're little? That's when we will learn that hustlers are gaining or are earning something or are benefiting from Hustler Fund. So,
right. Yeah. So 14 billion was invested by Kenyans. And now it's suggested that it's 73 billion to repayment. It's okay. I think you have a microphone. It's fine. You don't have to do it. You have a microphone. Yes.
My mic is okay.
Your mic is fine.
Okay, fine. So
I need you to walk us through the numbers from 14 billion to 73 billion. The repayment rate, as the gentleman has asked,
Edward.
And the default rate. Now you can speak about the default rate.
Edward, yes, I will. But I wanted to ask this question. My good friends here who are saying, and they're very eager about the default, are they part of the defaulters? Like, you know, I know why I'm asking that question. Now, Hustler Fund has got, so far we have 3 products. Let me talk about those 3 products. We have the personal loan product, the one that we launched the fund with. And we deliberately call that loan product personal loan. So, and this is where we started with a base limit of 500 to up to 50,000, but you earn the limit enhancement. So if you borrow and repay, you go up. Then we introduce the group product. This one we introduced 2023 June, the group product, so that you can aggregate, assuming your loan limit was 500 shillings, my limit is 20,000 shillings, and we are in a group, we come together, and so you benefit from aggregated group limit, so you can borrow high amount, and when you are probably sharing amongst yourself, you end up getting higher loan. So you co-guarantee each other, and you benefit from being together. Then, last year, during the second anniversary of the fund, we introduced a bridge loan. Now, this bridge loan is now the one which is setting our beneficiary into a business pipeline. Today, as we speak, and this one was for those who are doing well, they graduate to higher limit. We realized that those on the personal loan who decided to borrow to do business, others were borrowing for consumption. And there is nothing wrong, by the way. Let me set this record clear. There's nothing wrong to borrow for consumption. The personal loan was like a credit card you've given to Kenyans. If you are under distress, me and you, we have credit cards. If you are under any distress, we can borrow in a very dignified way, do whatever we need, and repay when we get means. Now, the bridge loan, now this is where now we start discussing business. Today, as we speak, we have about 600,000 Kenyans who have now graduated to the bridge product. And these people, and I have numbers here, have so far borrowed.
Go to the numbers, finally.
I'm going to the numbers.
Okay.
I'm talking about now bridge, because they are saying...
No, you're running us to the numbers.
No, remember, I'm taking... But you know, you cannot just drop numbers without the context.
You've set up the context, yes.
Edward, it's good for even to understand this.
Yeah.
Probably you didn't know that you can graduate to the bridge loan based on your rating on the personal loan. So we have people who are borrowing, who started with 500, today they borrow up to 150,000 on the bridge loan. I have people who borrow up to 50,000, who borrow 20,000, and they started with their base limit of 500. So these are people, and on the bridge loan, we requested them to tell us why they're borrowing. And actually, people who are borrowing for business are even indicating sectors in which they're doing their business. I have all those data there. And on the bridge loan, just less than 7 months since we introduced it, people have borrowed close to 7 billion. That's how the loan portfolio has grown. And these people are paying extremely well. If you look at the daily collection, by the way, on the bridge product, showing that people are borrowing to do something that is generating income, is more than 90%. Now, the NPL that you're talking about, let's come to NPL, is 20%.
The what?
Yes. Non-performing loan is 20%. And where we have this issue is because when we launched the fund, especially on the personal loan, which I've seen most of my friends here talking about the personal loan, they're not even talking about the bridge. I don't know how many of you have graduated to the bridged product that can give you an enhance, is that during the first and the second month, you know, we launched this fund in under 90 days after the election. So we had a lot of political connotations around it. So where we experienced serious default was during the first and the second month, where some people borrowed and say, because of so many obvious reasons here and there, I'm not going to pay. We paid ourselves and stuff. But let me tell them good news or bad news to them, that all our 26 million, unlike any other fund, all our 26 million beneficiaries, we have sight of them. And they're all rated. And you can check here which rating are you, because from the experience we had in the last 2.5 years, we crystallized into a Hustler Fund behavioral rating system, which grades you from A1 to C3. So we have A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3, A being excellent, of course, and C being very poor, requiring improvement. So now, why I'm saying that, I'm not worried about defaults, because unlike anything else, we know where you are, and those who are saying we cannot pay, you are blocking yourself from the next opportunity that you would have either.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I feel like I want you to answer me from a point of logic too. You're telling Kenyans you need to borrow more to get to a higher score of borrowing. Yeah. You're literally telling Kenyans to stay in debt to get more debt. Does that make sense?
What do you mean? But let me ask you. let me ask you a question. And I want you to be very honest. Yeah. Which business can you do without credit line?
Without credit?
Yeah. Which business can you ever do without having access to a credit?
Can I give you one?
Yeah, give me one.
So,
and whether that will be a business. There's no business without credit.
Oh, let me explain one.
Yeah.
I could make a digital product right now out of Canva for free. Post probably charge it for around 200 shillings. Let me make it as low as possibly can. Either marketing, digital product, any, by the way. And I can be very poor at making it and charge it 200. And if I sell it to around, let's say, approximately 10 people, I have made myself a clean 4,000.
So where is that 200? We have people, like he said, who cannot even afford the 200
Madam, the 200 I am charging. I have not used any.
So you've started off and you start doing a business without injecting any capital.
In the digital space where the government could invest, you can make a digital product without
let me tell you, let's be very careful, by the way, not to confuse Kenyans. There is no business. There is no business without credit line. Even if you inject in your own saving, that saving that you put in is a credit to the business. Let's not confuse Kenyans.
Let me hear the wisdom in the room.
You can never do business without a credit.
Just explain to the business without credit.
No. Don't confuse Kenyans. And I think that's where we do.
Let's hear wisdom in the room. There is a gentleman on the right and the gentleman there with the pink suit. Please, let me start with you. Yes. Your name? Where please stand. Where are we having this all wrong? You know, Hustler Fund, according to the PS, and the government is working fantastically well. All right? It solved much of the problems. Most people in this room have said no. Why are we getting it wrong?
So, thank you so much. First of all, my name is Joe Gola, and I am a psychologist. So, the term hustler, first of all, who is an hustler? The PS, she's talking, and she's talking about billions and billions of cash. So these billions, I'm seated here asking myself, who is a hustler? The limit is up to 500 shillings. So to some extent, we are talking about a country where people are living hand to mouth. And that is precisely $1 or even $2 per day. So $1, you do the quick maths, it's coming to roughly 125 shillings. And the Hustler Fund itself, it's 500 shillings per limit. So to some extent, you will find that for you to maybe have an increase in your limit, you have to pay the 500 bob. So to some extent, you're telling a person who is earning hand to mouth to basically pay the 500 shilling. So to some extent, it's kind of like sounding like sarcasm.
So it doesn't work?
1. 2, I feel like Hustler Fund is a short-term solution to a long-term problem of entrepreneurship. He talked about starting the business with the Hustler Fund. But then again, the question is, should we all start selling sweets? The other question is that to some extent, for us to raise a capital of up to 2,000 shillings, should we all borrow in paying the Hustler Fund? And we are talking about a country where people are living hand to mouth.
Okay.
The CS, the PS, I mean, she's talking about credibility. And to some extent, yes, there is no assets that I need to be attached to so that I can get the loan.
Okay.
But then again, right now we are hearing that they want to basically put credibility to people to start borrowing loans from banks. So it becomes a paradox again. So thank you.
Okay. The microphone on this side. Where is the microphone? Yes, please. Same drill.
Thank you so much. My name is Ibrahim Gitu Kijanjoi. I come from Kiambaa constituency, Kiambu County. I'm a youth leader in Kiambu County. So first of all, and I've seen Madam PS, she is struggling so much to explain herself. She has been given a lot of minutes, but she is saying nothing. In that Kenya majority of Kenyans and young people, we are educated and we learn from different countries. We learn from Japan, we learn from America. We learn how a country can resolve their unemployment problem, but it's not by giving out money to people. So when I come to Hustler Fund, where did the Hustler Fund come? Where did that idea came from? It came from after now the Kenya Kwanza government saw that there is a high rate of unemployment in Kenya. So they came up with an idea of I think a political tool, maybe to lure people to vote for them. Then that fund came in. There's no accountability on the fund, on the entire fund.
What kind of accountability would you have liked to see in the fund?
So, for example, it was launched on November 2022. By the end of December, it already had 68.3% loan default. Again, accountability number 2 comes in. The 5% that you cut from now the loan that I borrow. For example, I borrow 500 bob. You cut me 5% of 500. Where does what is the process of me getting that saving? Because it's my saving. What is the process of a Kenyan living in Githurai getting back these 5% saving? Again, the last point.
You've made your point. You've made your point.
Okay, thanks.
This gentleman here, before I go on a break, yes.
And I'm going to forget those points they're saying.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Innocent Wanyonyi.
Yeah.
I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law. So you asked a question where we got it wrong. And I think the simple answer is at the Hustler Fund. Because the idea of the Hustler Fund was to save people from debt. There is no glory in people borrowing, because we have said that at least 26 million people have registered for the Hustler Fund. That is worrying. To me, that is not exciting, because it means that half of Kenyans are in debt. And again, you see, we have seen that if Harambee Stars players can be given 1 million shillings a day, there's no need to give me 500 shillings to start a business. I can still...
Can be given 1 million shillings a day as well?
Yeah, I'll never borrow again. If you give me... I'll not have to borrow again if I get that money. Yeah. Lastly, the idea of... I think that moving forward, the Hustler Fund is a good idea. That money can be geared to think of something else better, because there is no need for me to have a personal loan where I have to, one, be forced to save, because we have not said here that that Hustler Fund does not come the full 500 shillings. It is, there's a small tax. Which
okay, I'm going to take a referendum. Hang on, guys, we'll come back. We have time, and we have the PSS. We'll answer all your questions. We're not leaving here until we're very clear if Hustler Fund works or it doesn't. And if all of us
but
need
I'm
to...
going to forget what they're asking.
So that I want to give... Yeah, we'll have time. So, to the point, and to the urgent question of accountability and governance, because the Kenya Human Rights Commission said that this Hustler Fund essentially was a bottomless pit. We threw good money into bad problems we have as a country, all right? This is 14 billion down the drain. And they have reason to say because we had youth fund. We put 6.5 billion into the youth fund. It went down the drain. We had women fund. It also went down the drain. So there's a good history to this. As we go on a break, Piers, can you promise Kenyans that this was good money thrown into a good problem before you come back and answer all these questions?
Allow me to answer the questions.
Answer the question.
Because I've realized we are speaking from a point of not really understanding. Yeah, so when we say that we are indebting people, first of all, we did not roll out Hustler Fund and say that you had to sign up. That's why I asked a question. Did you sign up for Hustler Fund? You have to register. You have to register? All that we did, of course, it's still signing up, opting in yourself. Okay. And you dial *254#. All that we did, because we wanted this fund to reach out to everybody, not to say I don't have airtime. We zero-rated. So it's zero-rated on all platforms, Airtel, Safaricom, all are 3 telcos and Telcom. So you don't need any airtime. So you cannot say I did not have. Again, it is you yourself to sign in. But the idea about, to the gentleman, the idea about Hustler Fund did not even come from the government. It came from the people. If you remember, we had these grassroots forums across the country. And the people told us there was a problem in the market. And most of our people at the bottom of the economic pyramid were being, predated on. We had predatory lending. Yeah, predatory lending, because since you cannot access affordable credit in the commercial banks, so we had many digital lenders who are even charging an interest of 10% a day. There's no business like what you talked about, 500 or 1,000 bob, whether you can make anything with a cost of 10% per day. So that market failure, we had then to come in and intervene in and make the market understand. That's the financial institution and the banks. But these Kenyans, we have Kenyans actually who are good. You only look at them as being of higher risk, but you can actually lend to them at a single-digit interest. And so that's how we came together with the banks and the telcos to say, let's start this initiative so that they can also see the practice, see how the numbers are moving, see those Kenyans also who are borrowing and repaying. So the idea is not politically motivated. It is a failure that is in the market, and you can ask those Kenyans, especially those mamambogas, they will tell you the kind of credit and how costly this was. And today, the difference
the Kenyans,
that
their business also telling you that this idea has not worked.
Yeah. But we are telling you,
you're not addressing the point.
But I'm asking you, if them, for example, in this room, we've had those people who have said it has worked because they had a business intention, and they are doing with it, and they are growing with it. Those here that I've seen them saying it has not worked, some are just saying, some have not even tried it. Some said I borrowed 500 and have not paid, as if someone came and said, take this 500 by force.
But the numbers have said that.
And you see, listen, most of this, no, listen, most of
more Hustler funds that was given out, half of it has been defaulted.
But also, let me tell you.
So that's just the data.
It does not,
it
does not smart. I want you to listen this. I say Hustler Fund has created a pipeline for business.
All right.
It does not take a whole population to do business. Some of these people, now listen, like this gentleman who said he's doing something, if skiza, If this person, and I want you to listen. Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to listen very carefully. Yeah?
As you collect your thoughts,
Edward,
I need to take a break.
It's not even about collecting my thoughts.
I have to pay my bills because I don't have.
Yeah, because you have to pay your bills.
You're watching NTV Tonight, the last one. We'll come back to the question and to that answer on exactly how the Hustler Fund is working. You're watching the last one, coming to you live from where are we?
Hustler Nation.
All right, take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.
Then.
All right, welcome back. You are watching The Last Word. And the question is, and we're asking it in public and in broad day night, because it's not light. Is the Hustler Fund working for you? Has the Hustler Fund actually worked? The numbers bears us out that there's a big problem with the default rate. There's a problem with non-performing loans. And there's others who are saying anecdotally that yes, the Hustler Fund does work.
I think, James, first of all, in between our break, I do not want to leave here being accused of lying. So I feel like I want to ask my questions deliberately just to guide the PS. Oh, and by the way, I'm 24. So when I'm asking these questions, it's because I've been in that space where you're a comrade who can't. And I've had to siphon through and think through what else can I do other than looping myself in debt. I've seen what it has done to my former generations. I don't want to superficially think that I can't do anything other than debt, right? So let me take you through something. And this, I'll put them in form of questions just so that you can enlighten me and tell me the truth about this fund. I think number one, there's a lender called Tala. Their default rates yearly is 8%. The government's default rate is, as you said, 20%. Critically, there's a problem within the government lending structure, and I can share you a couple of things that you can check at your own time that could maybe advise on this. What is your loan allocation criteria? Nobody knows. What is your regional disbursement data? How many people are borrowing per county, and what are they borrowing towards? Because I like the idea of us saying people are borrowing for business. Which businesses are this? Because again, as they borrow and invest in their business, I cumulatively think through, as they invest into their business, they're creating opportunities for young people to get into those businesses so that we don't have to borrow. I think this is supposed to be the essence, but clearly we're just borrowing and then borrowing more to get higher borrowing measures. Another thing would be performance tracking. Who is this that is borrowing? If somebody said if people are living on a dollar per day, that is 125 Kenyan shillings, meaning 500 is probably a mark that most Kenyans can't reach. And if 20 million plus Kenyans did apply to the Hustler Fund, which is interesting because these are 20 million Kenyans pulled into debt, and 19 million of them possibly ended up defaulting, yet they're also in the margin of 500 to, let's say, 10,000 in borrowing, then what is this money doing other than actual day-to-day consumption, which is exactly what the poverty line is about, whereby you are living hand to mouth because that's the only thing you want to cater for. Lastly, I feel like you're the one confusing me here. Why? I feel like if there was a clean 40 billion Kenyan shillings that was supposed to be put to assist these people in the low economic forums, then it should have been a capitation towards incentives and integrated government services or whatever, or it's filed up into institutions or industries that could generate more income, because now the one thing we should be talking about is what is sustainability of giving Kenyans free incentive finances that could make them be more dignified. Because I think nobody wants to borrow genuinely, Madam PS. Nobody wants to do star 254 and tell you, I need 500 shillings because I can't have a food in the table. Kenyans are hardworking. Kenyans want to work. We don't want a system where we are borrowing and begging the government. This money can be very well capitalized into industries and systems that can generate a loophole of Kenyans that are thriving and working and therefore dependent on their skill and not necessarily on a fund that you cannot even attest to where the money from and how.
Is that
because
a
the
question?
Auditor General could not conduct a full audit due to missing documents with unsupported transactions. And the fund was, remember, it was launched without an oversight board until people litigated. Mind you, you have no transparency on the fund,
Edward,
because we can't analyze
I think
it.
You need to guide. You need to guide this conversation.
That's why I pushed these questions to you for you
those
to
are
guide
not
us.
questions. I can see in what you're trying to tell me, part is also a lecture, part are comments, part is questions. So, but let me go back to a few issues and maybe turn them into questions that you've said. I can see you mentioning Tala, and allow me not to discuss Tala in the market. Second. But 3 months ago, there was a report in our media that Association of Digital Lenders actually were asking CBK, of which Tala and those that you're mentioning is part of it, to consider writing off so that they can keep their books of balance clean, because their NPL was 40%. Where are you getting 8%?
I've spoken of Tala.
So that's what I'm telling you. Their NPL, no, listen, their NPL was 40%.
Yes.
Recently, and in the past 1 week or so, you've been reading newspapers, and you've seen even what is happening in the market, even with the loans which have collateral, which are securitized. Go to the auctioneer's yard, you'll find their vehicles. Many housing, mortgages across this country is there. So when it comes to the issue of default, it's not only about Hustler Fund, it's a seriously entrenched cultural issue in our society. And that's how even Hustler Fund is coming in as a policy intervention to see how do we address this. It's not something, of course, that we can change in a day or in a year, but it's something that we can progressively start addressing. And some of the policy responses that are coming from there, informed by experience of Hustler Fund, but also what is now happening in the market, even with the commercial bank, is how do we now start entrenching financial literacy, even in our basic education system. Like I said, it's a behavioral thing,
So you
it's a
agree there's a
cultural
default
thing,
problem?
it's a behavior, it's not only Hustler Fund. I'm saying this is a societal issue, because I'm telling you, look at even the credit market where you have securitized. You put their collateral, but there is also still default. So how do we start addressing that? So this initiative is also informing us on what else we need to do just beyond the credit lines, that's beyond even the grants. We also in our sector, we provide grants. Like now, you've heard us talk about Nyota. Before Nyota, we had KYOP. And KYOP were even giving grants to people where money that our young people are not repaying in the training them to do business. But 50% of them got actually to make use of that grant. So when we're talking about businesses and how we can grow our industry and how we can get our young people, is more than just singling out an initiative and now making a conclusion that this is not working. We also have to look at what are the structural challenges, what are the cultural issues that we have.
After we include the structural challenges and the behavioral problems that Kenyans have and where we are as a country, you know, economic depressed, you know, from the pandemic, would you then say that this initiative, as was conceptualized, hasn't lived up to that promise because of all these challenges?
I would say it has lived up because it's a pipeline of 26 million. Today we have about 4.5 million and above. You remember I talked about the Hustler Fund behavioral rating system, which at least we can say around 4.5 million. Now actually the number growing even to 5 million. These are people who are rating between A and Bs. These are people that you are saying maybe now the banks can start now looking at them differently. Because even just beside borrowing, you remember there was that element of saving, and I saw our good friend here asking, how do you access savings? Today, if you go to your phone, if you're borrowed on Hustler Fund, short-term saving, you can withdraw anytime as you need. You can withdraw. And if they have saved, actually, just go dial *2454#, select Hustler Fund, go to saving, and you can withdraw. And so far, almost 800 million has been withdrawn by people who have saved the short-term savings. So it is something which you cannot say people are saving, and because also saving was even a challenge. Some people did not have an opportunity. Then you talk about when he talked, and by the way, I liked your views and your contribution. When he said now you look at majority of Kenyans, like you're saying, live below the poverty line, which is about 125 shillings. But when we give you a limit of 500, it does not mean that you have to withdraw the 500. You can even access 100. You can even access 200.
Okay.
We've just told you your limit goes up to 500.
All right.
So nobody say that it must be. If you feel that what you needed is only 100 or 200, that's what you go to access. But I just wanted to get back to her a little bit so that we can agree. But she says that you can operate a business without a credit. But I tell her, even this phone in the digital space, even this phone, which is a device, this is a capitalization you put in that
100%.
business, isn't it?
Yes.
And this you did not pick it somewhere.
100%.
Isn't it? So that is your credit.
But who said
That's
I'm only
a
working
credit
on
to
a
the
phone?
business, isn't
All right.
it?
So I have a
That's
lot
the
of flags.
credit.
I have a lot of flags.
That's the credit. You turn
All right.
that into the credit.
Where's the microphone?
Because
it can't become the credit.
Where's the
no,
microphone?
it's what you put into the
Okay.
business. This is what digital device that you
Give
needed.
the microphone to the gentleman
You
on the
got
right.
it, right? So this is, yeah.
All right, please.
That's the capital, initial
All right,
capital
PS.
to your business. So
Hang
there's
on.
nothing that you can say is free.
Let's get some wisdom in the room. Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Morgan.
Please speak up.
Yes, my name is Morgan Waikuva Mulanda. I'm from Malava constituency, Kakamega County. So my question to the PS is, I see you have some maybe solid answers. You are not answering what we are asking you. And my question to you is, what criteria did you use to come up with a loan limit of 500? Because I had a friend of mine who is earning around 120,000, yet he was given the same loan limit as me, who is earning below that 120 million. Okay. Then I was shocked with my friend who said that an egg can go for 30 shillings in a campus where we know very well they are comrades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good question. I want to get to provide this proper context because we come here from at the back of Kenya Human Rights Commission reports. I think some 2 weeks ago. Let's listen to Sheila Masinde, and then I'll come back to the room. Let's listen in.
Why do we continue to put money in a fund, yet we cannot fund basic needs like education and health?
The cure is to drain the swamp. So let us not waste our time thinking about the management of these funds. The funds are unconstitutional. You have got no business managing unconstitutional things.
Okay, this is a show about people. The microphone is on this side. I want you to listen to those questions. Yes, the microphone at the back. Please, you've spoken. Give the gentleman at the back the microphone. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Kilavuka Kabatesi. I'm a graphic designer and visual artist and a second-year student at Maseno University. Madam PS, it would be very honest of you to stop sugarcoating the reality, and it cannot be hidden from the truth. I mean, what is the use of Hustler Fund, yet we already have existing institutions like Uwezo Fund and Youth Fund Enterprises? I mean, it really sells the logic of a political slogan that it is of a financial sustainability to the citizens. Personally, the last time I remember, actually 2 times, I applied for a Hustler Fund. It's not because I wanted to set up a business, but it is because I needed transport from one point to the other. So I really want when somebody stands and says that it is used, I mean, 500 shillings can be able to generate a business on such kind of a struggling economic country that we are in. I mean, it is an insult to the citizens. Even is 500 shillings. I mean, come on. Yeah? Last of all, Madam PS, it will be really wise of you to have more of a lucrative ways and strategies of an innovative mind. We are not sinking a country into debt. Teach the young people on the culture of investing and tapping into opportunities. You will enslave the country continuously in decades by continuously putting us into the thing of borrowing, borrowing, and borrowing. I mean, we'll never sight out of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your point is made. The lady, please. I've not heard from the ladies. Let me hear from the lady on the right here, please. Hand over the microphone to the lady. I've not heard from many ladies tonight.
I'm Grace Muyende, a student at the University of Nairobi. So my question to the PS, according to KHRC, the default rate is 68.3, but according to UPS, the default rate is at 20%. The KHRC, they are saying that there is a net loss of 71.5%. So make us understand that. Again, Asla Fund is not working at all, because Asla Fund was part of the bottom-up economic blueprint. It was aimed to get the small business people to create businesses, to come up with businesses and become part of the taxable bracket. Like, how many people have come up with businesses? How many young people are now having their businesses and they're paying taxes? Like, is there really economic growth? Has Asla Fund really led to any economic growth? Because if so, like, why can't we not see them? Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
So the question is that we've sunk in what? Now we're at 70 billion, but the economy hasn't really felt it.
So, Edward, what are the indicators of economic growth? Let's begin from there. You know, those 26 million Kenyans who have borrowed are from across, there is no household actually, and I will say today, which does not have someone who has borrowed from Hustler Fund. So even look at the purchasing power. The other day, CBK did their FinAccess sometime towards the end of last year, and actually it was established when they asked the respondent the source of financing, where they access funding for the agricultural sector, most of them actually cited the Hustler Fund. A few days ago, there's a parent actually who called me when he heard all these things and we are shouting and saying, no, maybe some people who stay up there do not know that our economy is micro. We are in a micro economy to an extent that the 600,000 people that I said we graduated them, who have graduated so far to the bridge product, even those people that have a limit of up to 100,000, 150,000, which is the max, most of them actually opt to borrow 10,000, 20,000. So we are in a micro economy. Our purchasing power is also micro. And when people say, what can you do with 500 shilling? Truly speaking, if you have a business mind, 500 shilling is enough to kick you off. What does a mama mboga who goes to Gikomba or Wakulima market to buy sukuma wiki need? If that mama gets 500, can be able to put her mboga somewhere there and start selling. So we should
500
not...
shillings?
Yeah, with 500 shillings, you
I've
can
been
buy
to
mboga.
You
can buy mboga. And let's
I've
go.
been there.
Well, let me ask you,
Yes.
why can't we go into these markets
Yes.
and do a survey?
Yes.
Go even to the estate and see even tomatoes that people put there. How much money do I need to buy 2 kg or 1 kg of omena and begin from there? So sometimes when we are up here, and I dare say, most of those observations that were made, and I don't want to give credence to that report, because, and I'm happy because we are here, we have here comrade, and you know the professional ethics of carrying out a study, isn't it? The ministry was not involved, not even during the data collection, not even during the validation. So I do not know where they got their data. As much as they try to reference to the Auditor General's
Do you
report.
doubt the Auditor General?
Listen, Auditor
No, do you
General's
doubt the
report.
Auditor General?
They try to reference on the first year of the fund, the 2022-2023 report. The fund was only 7 months old.
Yes.
But then the analysis which they were doing between November and December, this first product of the fund, which is the personal loan, has got 14 days. Now then you can roll over to another 14 days to 30 days.
Okay.
So when you take 30th November to December and you make a conclusion and you come up with this very absurd, I don't know, default rates. So we do not know, we disown that report. In fact, from where we sit, you're very clear that even looking at the title of that report, that the motive behind the study, the conclusion and recommendation is politically motivated. And to that extent, allow me not to respond to any questions arising from there, because that report is a fabrication, recommendation are a total fabrication.
That's
and,
okay.
and let me tell you something.
And you can see from the room.
And I can tell you, even if it's coming, because I've clearly seen.
I've given you so much time to
and
speak.
Edward,
so that
you
everyone
bring
else
an audience also.
All right.
Bring
Please.
people also who have had experience with the
We've
fund.
had people with experience.
Madam PS, okay,
And
I
yeah.
know you.
Because today, I might say today that when the lady from University of Nairobi, my good friend, says that it was meant for business. And I
Okay.
herself, she's not
Where's the
telling us
microphone?
whether she has ever attempted to borrow for
they
business.
pass, let
So
me ask
what
you,
are we even discussing?
Did you respond to the Auditor General then when she said she couldn't conduct a full audit because of missing documents?
We did, because what happens, so
what
far
was the
we've gone through almost, this will be the third cycle of audit.
Yeah.
And I remember there was even an officer from the Auditor General who said the report is where? In Parliament. So Parliament is another opportunity for us even to take. And we did a management response, and we were able to explain. Because, and if comrades here, listen, if comrades here are here, especially the data scientists and people who are in technology, they know when you are not auditing on a live environment, like I talked about, there is the banking system and there's the telco system. So the Auditor General has to pick data from this system, put at her source, go to that system, put at her source. Obviously, issues of data reconciliations emerges. So it was very clear that that report was not yet conclusive. It can only be concluded once it has been discussed in Parliament. So that's what I'm telling. For someone to start raising such conclusion, it's not right. So allow me, by the way, not to respond to that report.
You made the point. You've spoken. The gentleman with the microphone, you've spoken, right? Give the gentleman on the front the microphone, please.
I wanted to agree with Madam P.S.
You've agreed. You've agreed already.
Why don't you want him to agree?
He has spoken.
He has spoken.
No, but why can...
Yes.
He has spoken.
But it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Are you behaving like those people?
Please.
Because there are so many hands and they would love an opportunity.
Please, speak.
I'm Eddie Magak from Homa Bay County, Kasipul constituency, West Kasipul ward. My question to the PS is that I know you know that the Hustler Fund is unconstitutional, and as a law-abiding citizen, I think you are supposed to maybe see on how to legalize it. It's unfortunate that you're there, and yet you know it's unconstitutional.
Why is it
and you're still
unconstitutional?
holding the position.
How is it unconstitutional? Maybe we discuss that. How is it unconstitutional?
Microphone on this side. Where's the microphone?
Edward, you know that's a very serious
Give the microphone to the back end. Yes, the gentleman who's raising, yes.
Why is it
Please
unconstitutional?
stand and your name.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Muturi Njoroge from Murang'a County. First of all, I would like to pity the PS for trying to express herself as much to correct about the Hustler Fund. The Hustler Fund, first of all, it hasn't worked at all, because the government is borrowing money to give us debts. So there is no logic on paper where you can borrow money to give people debts. I don't understand how, but PS, kindly help us understand how the government is borrowing money from China and then coming to give us money, that money to pay us debt. So thank you.
Okay. Microphone on this side. Give this gentleman. Okay, now I'm taking quick fire questions and responses. So very quickly, your name so that we can pick as many as possible and, you know, get to some conclusion. Your name?
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Kioko. I come from Kitui County, Kitui East constituency. The Hustler Fund is a good idea, but trapped into a small thinking. It's like giving a fishing rod, but without a bait, a river, and the time for fishing. In a growing country like Kenya, we don't need more of micro handouts. We need a macro vision. I don't know whether you understand me. Now, why is Hustler Fund not working? Number one, unrealistic repayment terms. A period of 14 days, you know, many Kenyans are trapped into daily survival, and the repayment terms do not match with the real cash flow cycles of small traders. Number two. Okay. So
you can go on. Yes, you can go on. Okay. You've made your point. One final burning comment. One final burning comment. Where's the microphone on this side? Someone who's not spoken. Have you spoken? Okay, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Bius Michael Joseph, and thank you, Madam PS, for showing up and trying to enlighten us. I'd like to pass a quick recommendation. I appreciate the stories of those who have found success in Hustler Fund, but I'd recommend that the government be more transparent with the information, because we are in a democratic system. I think it will help us understand it better.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to use my exact... I'm being told I need to leave because I need to give the PS time to respond to half of these questions. So if you can spend 30 seconds, and that would be it. She has the microphone starts. Please give that 30 seconds here. All right. Go ahead. Quickly, what is your question or response?
Good evening once again. Like I said, I'm Charlene from Kiambu County. Now, my question is Hustler Fund our tax, or is it from a private investor, or is it debt from outside? That's what I want an explanation of that.
Very good question. If you do the same, you'll be very well on time.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mbithi Alex from Makueni County. My recommendation is actually you check into the systems, because the system has failed in that personally I am not a beneficiary of Hustler Fund. The reason is I lost my ID, and when I registered again my SIM card, I was not able to log in because someone got my ID registered with a new SIM card with my ID, and he was able to register for Hustler Fund, and thus I was not able to to be a beneficiary. So a recommendation: check on the systems, and finally, please stop doing what? Stop thinking that that we are here to
castigate.
Yes, to castigate what the government.
Let me help you with words. Yes, they're saying.
Okay.
They're saying.
Yes, what the government has.
Stop being defensive.
Yes,
we're here trying to help the Hustler Fund.
Yeah, exactly.
So please respond. If you can capture it.
Thank you.
2 minutes or less.
And when you help the Hustler Fund, we're actually helping ourselves, because this is a very good initiative. Number one, on the issue of ID, I'll be able to look into your issue. If you can, after the show, you can share with me your ID number so that I can really go and interrogate and see what really happened. Because all our Hustler Fund beneficiaries, their unique identifier is their national ID card. So even if you were to go and throw away your line and pick a new line, we will still identify you, because you still be identified. That's why we try to manage multiple, or what we call multiple dipping. You borrow with this, and if you think you are smart, you throw away. If you go to borrow using another line from another telco, you will just, we will know that you have an existing loan. Now, on the issue of constitutionality, I think it is not true. Hustler Fund is constitutional. We have regulations. It's under the PFM Act, and which is within a constitutional framework. So some of the stories that we've been hearing outside there sometimes are not very true, by the way. So it is constitutional. Otherwise, it will not be here. Even some of those people who try to say it's unconstitutional, today they will be in court. And you know that very well. So it is, I want you to have that confidence that the setting up of this fund followed all the legal process and is within the laws of Kenya. Now, the money that comes to Hustler Fund, like you said, it is from us Kenyans. It is taxpayers. It's not borrowed from anywhere. It is our own tax. The good thing is sitting within us, ourselves. It is our money which is appropriated. The first money that we injected came through the National Treasury, through the Exchequer, and it was appropriated through Parliament. So it's all taxpayers' money. And that's why we are saying smart that there is any chance that this money will be defaulted. And I think one of the things that, as I summarize, because I know we have to summarize, which I have to say, that we have about 9 million Kenyans who borrow frequently. So it will also be unfair to say Hustler Fund is not working when we have 9 million Kenyans who could be running businesses, who could be doing something that actually can create more opportunities for the rest of those Kenyans probably who have fallen along the way in terms of repayment. But then because of the serious issue about default in our society, we are trying to nurture a good credit behavior. Why? Kenya is growing global as we speak. Today we are going global. And in some economies, you cannot purchase anything if you don't have a good rating. By the way, you cannot even if you have lots of cash, they'll first of all want to run through. So it's good for us, by the way, to embrace a culture of good borrowing. And what it means, you don't have to borrow if you are not in need. You only borrow when you are in need and when you have a plan. I want to take in most of the recommendation and comments I have received from here. Ideally, I know, aside from the personal loan product, which I think everybody talks about, these new products like the bridge product, it's a term loan. We enhance the tenure from 14 days now to 30 days, and actually you can roll over to another 30 days to 60 days. So we are moving like that slowly. And we look forward also to introducing other products that especially can serve our young people, like, let's say, startup product. If you have an idea, especially for those in the tech industry, you can be able also to access. We are also going to become more innovative, exploring products that can fit into the business context, especially of our young people. But I want to end by saying this, that credit rating, we want to see how we can socialize it so that it becomes part and parcel. And by socializing, doesn't mean that you have to actually borrow. Anytime people tell you can borrow this, you only borrow when you have a need. But it's good to have that because eventually, as a government, we want to see how we can reform our collateral system, move it from the conventional title deed where majority of our young people have no access, have no reach, to about a behavior. You know, behavior is just your history that speaks and that practice. So Hustler Fund has given, especially to young people, those that had not borrowed the first time credit experience, you start building your credit history that now will be visible even to formal financial institution. In the future, you cannot say you will never want a loan. When you go there, they have something that can show them that you can borrow and repay. So this is an initiative, an intervention that sets to change the way we look at credit, but above everything else, to nurture a good borrowing behavior and also habits in our economy, which is very important, by the way. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Makofi tafadhali. You guys have done very well. You're all looking very gloomy. Like it's been a very good conversation.
It actually has been. I think what maybe for me my parting shot, Madam PS, is I feel like it's important to recognize that you have a population of people that are so well in tune with financial structures that they want for themselves. And we have seen what loans have done to former generations, especially without the education around it. So maybe with the recommendations that have been placed on board, I think it would be good to have more forums, definitely, that fully explore the question of what young people are really asking for financially vis-a-vis what the government can genuinely provide. Because I feel like there's such a very big clash. But importantly, I feel like it's very great that you're here, because this is still you being on the ground anyway, listening to these concepts that people are raising. I think it's a back-to-back fourth, yes, because again, I know one way we are, it's like you're here in a room of people who are so anti-you, but it's a policy we are anti maybe. And I think this type of deliberations are very key. What maybe I would love to leave you with is that probably what we're trying to say is that we don't want to borrow and probably would want incentives or investments. Maybe however it can be packaged can be different. It can still be hustler fund. But I feel like people want to see directive of where the money can go and how accessibility works for them.
Absolutely. So this is how we would like to end this conversation. You've all been listening, conversing, and counterpoints and points. You all have your boats. Anna finished a differently way. Now, after hearing what you had, all right, in the last hour and a half, okay? Green being that now you're very comfortable with this idea of borrowing, and like this gentleman here, take 500 shillings up to 2,000 and manage to buy eggs and be a tycoon. He's a tycoon. He's buying us all lunch after this, yeah, from his campus. And Red being like, I'm still not convinced, okay? Please put your boards up to the same question. Is the Hustler Fund really working, going to work, all right? Or still not my thing, okay? Just feedback.
What do we think?
All right, PS would look. Please, put up your boards. Is it working? Do you think it's going to work eventually? Are you convinced? Okay, it's good feedback. And the PS has said she's taking feedback. I hope you've had some very instructive things from this conversation. There's a lot of feedback online. You're watching the last one.
Some misconception.
Thank you very much. It has been a very, very good evening of the conversation of what we need to do, because these are our taxes. This is how governance should work. Governance on ground, where we ask questions, we get response. Where there's information, misinformation, disinformation, it gets dispelled. But this is how governance essentially should work. There's nothing wrong that has happened. Nothing, as we say, ends well, without not starting here at the last word. Good evening. Please clap for yourself. You've been a fantastic, fantastic audience. Yeah. And for you at home, for all the comments and for all your feedback, we appreciate it very much. Zaha Indimuli, and I'm James Matt Eric Latif, all the way from Homa Bay. Please have a lovely night. We do this all over again next week, same time, same place.
Same place.
Thank you very much.